Okay, we're getting close to the end. We're ready to start chapter 36 of Terror at Bottle Creek by Watt Key. We're just going to jump straight in today. Chapter 36. I drifted downriver with my eyes closed, strangely comfortable, no longer worried about anything. The wind and rain beat on my face, and the cold water spun and rocked my limp body amid the storm of debris. It seemed there was nothing left of me but a dreamy consciousness, keeping my fingers curled around the door, savoring the moment before I let go and sank into the muddy depths. Then I felt something slam into the refrigerator, almost tearing it from my grip. "Court!" someone yelled. I thought it was just part of the dream. "Court!" I opened my eyes and I saw Dad reaching out to hold the edge of the fridge. "Grab the side of the boat, son." Dad hung over me in Mr. Stovall's old center console John. When I didn't respond, he spun the fridge, leaned out, and grabbed the back of my pants. He pulled me over the gunnels, and I flopped to the deck like a big fish. He leaned down and got in my face. "Where are they?" I still couldn't make sense of the situation. I began to cough and cry. "Dad." He punched me hard in the shoulder. "Come on, Court, where are they?" I leapt at him with the last of my strength, hit him on the leg, and fell at his feet. "I hate you," I said. "I hate you." "I'm here, Court." "You were gone," I coughed. "You left me." He grabbed my arm and tried to pull me up. "Come on, son." I jerked away from him and wiped my face. "It's too late," I said. For a moment, neither of us said anything. The turbulence spun the boat and sucked at it and carried us swiftly downriver. The storm blew and spat at us, but I didn't see or hear or feel any of it. I felt like something curled into a hard shell. "I'm sorry," he said. "I was wrong to leave. I know that." "I needed you," I said. I just needed you. It's just us." He touched my shoulder again. "I know," he said. After a moment, my head began to clear, and I said, "The mounds. They're at the mounds." He pulled his hand away and shoved down on the engine throttle. The boat started swinging against the current. "Bottle Creek," he said. I wiped my face again and grabbed the steering console and started to pull myself up. "Are they at Bottle Creek?" "Yes," I said. I stood and held the running bar of the console. He bent down and grabbed a life vest and shoved it toward me. "Put it on." I leaned against the console and worked my arms into the vest while the boat surged upriver, chewing against the current. "What happened, Court? I need something to work with here." I didn't answer his questions. "We need guns, Dad." "What?" "They're in a tree on the top of the big mound. There's a boar hog and alligators and snakes and everything in the swamp. Liza's snake bit. They were both in bad shape when I left them." Dad bit his bottom lip, trying to get his thoughts around it. "We've got to kill the hog, Dad. You can't get past it. It's snake bit or something. It's gone mad." He swallowed. "The guns are still in my truck," he said. "No way out across Nelson's field." "We don't have that much time." He studied the river ahead and didn't answer me. "Dad!" He looked at me. "We can't get past it," I said. "It'll kill us." He stared ahead again and clenched his jaw with determination. It was a look of resolve I hadn't seen in a long time. "We'll do what we have to do," he said. "Hang on." He jammed his palm against the throttle again, hammering all he could get from the outboard. The boat leapt and strained against the river. Chapter 37. It seemed to take forever, plowing upriver to the mouth of the Bayou Jessamine, wiping water from our faces, dodging debris, and strong-arming the boat through the river boils and undertow. "We're going to get those girls, son," Dad shouted over the wind. But the tone of his voice didn't have any confidence behind it. It was just talk to make us both feel better. My eyes searched the boat and my mind raced with ideas, but I could think of nothing we had to fend off Rusty. Dad didn't understand. He hadn't seen what was out there. Dad pointed at the spot on the west side of the river. Pointed at a spot on the west side of the river. I saw the remains of the houseboat, just a few pieces of roof, twisted and torn and caught up in the trees. I looked away. "I had to leave Catfish on there," I said. "He wouldn't get off the houseboat." Dad shook his head like he didn't want to hear any more bad news. After a minute, he slammed his hand on the throttle. "Come on," he said. "Why can't this thing go faster?" Finally, we swung into the mouth of Bayou Jessamine and had to slow down. The river let go of the boat and the trees closed around, giving us shelter from the storm. The creek was normally only 20 feet across and impossible to navigate in anything wider than a canoe. Now the biggest obstacles were tree branches and spider webs. We crouched behind the console and let them scrape and whip across the boat. We need to get an ambulance on the way, Dad. He swatted a banana spider from his arm. Yeah, he mumbled, thinking about something else. Curly told me they won't help out during the storm. The heck they won't. They can't get to the landing. I did, he said. Take the wheel. I took over driving while Dad ducked beneath the console and pulled out his handheld radio. Curly, he said into it. No one answered. Curly, he shouted. Yeah? Came Curly's voice. That you, Tom? Yeah, it's me. I'm in trouble. Where can you get an ambulance down to the river? I'm bringing in the Stovall girls. What's going on? One snake bit and the other, he looked at me. Hypothermia, I think. Lots of ant bites, I said. Hypothermic and ant bites. You on the river, Tom? Listen, I don't have time to explain all this. Get me an ambulance, as close to the landing as they can. You know, I don't give me that crap, Curly. Make it happen. You drive it yourself if you have to. There was a pause. All right, Tom, let me see what I can do. Stand by. Dad shoved the radio back under the console and took the steering wheel from me. He bumped more speed out of the throttle and we plowed ahead. He took a hard turn and I fell against the gunwale, wincing as the wound on my thigh pressed against the steel. Stay down on the deck, he said. I got to my feet again. I'm okay, I said. What happened to your leg? That hog tusked me. We got to get something on it. I steadied myself and didn't answer him. Look under the console, he said. There's a couple of towels. You need to warm up. They're wet. They're better than nothing. Later, I said. The boat smashed and cracked through another mass of limbs. I pulled a net of sticky spider webs from my face, then looked back at the creek, trying to get some clue as to where we were by the pattern of the turns. I had a faint idea, but I knew we still had maybe a mile more to bull our way through. The boat suddenly hit a log and threw us against the console. Oh, come on, Dad said. I started for the stern. He cut the throttle and toggled the electric lift on the outboard to raise the propeller out of the water while I got out of the boat and stood on the submerged log and shoved us over. As soon as I climbed aboard over the transom, he lowered the motor and started ahead again. I don't know how we can get to them, I said. It's like nothing you ever saw. I never gave it a thought, he said, where they all go. You're about to find out. Deer too? Yeah, and bears. There was a bear in the tree next to us. Dad bit his lip again and shook his head. If the snakes haven't killed it, I think it's snake bit too. Dang snakes, he said. They're all over the mound. I've never seen so many in one place. Dad set his jaw again. Sounds like we're about to go to war, he muttered. Yeah, I said, except we don't have any guns. And that's the end of chapter 37.